My name is Zeek. I'm a visual artist, mainly from up in Sydney. I would say it lends itself to more of like a contemporary graffiti style, but it's kind of like a new form, expressionist, a bunch of different things. Started coming on opportunities of exhibitions, and I had some solo exhibitions going on, some group shows, link with artists, collaborate, make music, just make memories. I think it's all about the progression. That's the one thing I'm always repeating that. Yeah.
What are you gonna paint today? Do you know?
Today, it's something in line with chickens and eggs, I'm thinking. Yeah, so recently I've been exploring more vocally, like myself. I'm in the process of producing an album at the moment. The Instagram is Zeek was here, you know, the name state, it says. And then just keep the energy going. It's all about the progression.
Hello everybody from Free Range Gathering in Canberra. Brother, please introduce yourself.
My friend and other people listening, my name is Zeek. I'm a visual artist, mainly from up in Sydney.
From up in Sydney, Zeek, is it your name Zeek or is it your artist name Zeek?
That's the name that I go by nowadays.
And what kind of visual artist are you?
I would say it lends itself to more of like a contemporary graffiti style, but it's kind of like a new form, expressionist, a bunch of different things.
So how long have you been doing this?
My whole life. I've always been doing art, music, visual arts especially, but I've always had a hand in some sort of artistic like pleasure, you'd call it, yeah.
And your whole life is how many years?
My whole life right now, I've been living on this planet 22 years.
Awesome, mate. So you said you come from Sydney. How did you? Why? What for? You coming from Sydney?
Well, I originally did live in Canberra, but as of June last year, I took the opportunity to move up to Sydney to just pursue a career as an artist full time. And then since leaving Canberra, I just started coming on opportunities of exhibitions, and I had some solo exhibitions going on, some group shows, and it's just been an insane exploration into like what can really happen if you just take the step knowing that this is the direction you want to go in. So it's the most humbling thing to really just be progressing in a way that feels natural when I'm just wanting to step in that kind of path and just continue that momentum.
Awesome, mate. So you said in Sydney you moved to pursue a career. What are you currently doing in Sydney?
In Sydney, this is the same sort of thing, you know, just trying to paint every day and then just kind of explore different crazy vibes that are going on and link with artists, collaborate, make music, just make memories, I think. It's all about the progression. That's the one thing I'm always repeating that. Yeah.
That's nice, man. So what have been the most interesting or crazy projects that you've recently took part in?
Recently, this is one of the craziest, a live painting session. I previously was up in Sydney last weekend for another live event where we had some freestyle going on and I was painting and drawing up and sketching live again in that event. I find that the live events are the best to paint at because it produces something completely new on the spot. So like you can plan for what you want, but then the piece just has its own kind of progression. It's amazing. And then other than that, just kind of exploring myself creatively, making music like I mentioned before, and then just trying to paint every day and in different crazy situations. Yeah.
So what is it like being a graffiti artist, like, or making it? I hear it's very kind of tight community and not easy to get in. What has your experience been like?
I definitely wouldn't say that I'm necessarily in the scene, although I'm like surrounding and within the massive energy that the scene kind of encapsulates. But you're definitely right in regards to there's a weird like gatekeeping almost that exists within the community that I think is a kind of novelty thing. It's like a lot of people, if you ask them what's with the gatekeeping, they don't have an answer. So I know that could come with a lot of strife, but I think that honestly, if you take a second, like we're all producing the same kind of thing here. And some are better than others. That's how art is. But subjectively, we're all trying to aim for the same kind of outcome. It's to make good art that we like.
So what is it? You said you've lived in Canberra before. I guess what do you think the Canberra scene in comparison to Sydney graffiti scene, as far as you know, is like?
I think the Canberra scene's great. It's just that there's a little less energy of momentum here. I think it's building. Like events like this really show like the energy that can be present when it's curated. But I find that like up in Sydney, there's just so much going on. It's a busy city. Like everyone's stepping on each other's heels and toes there. So it's like if you don't have time to like do the double shuffle, you're gonna be trodden on.
Yes. What are you gonna paint today? Do you know?
Today, it's something in line with chickens and eggs, I'm thinking. Yeah, like as far as if you could mash up chickens, eggs, and the free range festival with a DJ-esque vibe as well. That's kind of what I'm going for, but I think I'm just going to try and approach it and let it just happen itself. And then we'll see at the end of the night. We're hoping to auction the piece off, which will be pretty cool. So, yeah.
Nice. Can you name a few graffiti artists maybe who inspire you?
Okay, well, from a younger age, we were always looking up to these cats like Banksy and Shepard Fairey, even though they're kind of outside of Australia. And then I had other artists like Soffles and some local kind of graffiti artists around Canberra. Well, one writer prominently who I remember from a youth called Meds. I always remember seeing Meds around Canberra when I'm a little kid, even before I knew what graffiti really was or what the get-up was. So those are some of the biggest names. And then David Cho, a big one, but these are more like philosophical artists, I think, that are really just trying to, their art is a way to express who they are. And that's really what I'm trying to do with my art form as well.
So what would be the dream wall or the dream place for you to paint at or to paint on?
Well, I'm still waiting for my magnum opus, but I think there's a Sistine Chapel in the works at some point. Yeah, whether or not it comes in the form of some sort of defacing or a commission piece itself, I would like to think there's some opportunity like that may arise.
Nice, man. So you said you're also into music. What sort of music and how are you involved in music? In what way?
So recently I've been exploring more vocally, like myself. I'm in the process of producing an album at the moment. And shameless plug. And then also, as far as my own listening habits, it's always revolved around hip-hop, but then from a young age, like jungle and techno was always around. Like my dad was always playing these like heavy techno tracks. And so I think it always merits itself to like this weird dystopian like hip-hop techno trance level of things. That's just, it's a huge witch pot of just sound.
So can you let's say if you take hip-hop, can you describe what kind of hip-hop it is?
I would say it's always been more of a creative hip-hop, the alternate type of hip-hop. So like I've always listened to like cats like Biggie and Eminem and Tupac, like these big names, but then like really taking the time to explore into like the depths of where the layers, like peel back the glass onion almost and uncover some of these like groups like the Native Tongues, Tribe Called Quest, Native Nuts, nobody knows them, and like Jay Dilla, like a crazy beat maker, all these hip-hop cats that really like, they did like some serious work, and even like the DJs that are in the mix as well, MCs, yeah, massive fan.
What about Australian hip-hop artists? Who are your favorite in Australia?
It's a shame because I've never like taken the chance to like fully just kind of take in what Australian hip-hop kind of has. I know there's a large kind of sound that comes from Australian hip-hop. I've just always been lost in the other style that coming from like mostly from the States. So there's no names that I can name myself, but there's a few mixtapes that I'm always playing on repeat. Yeah.
That's cool, mate. So what's next for you? Any projects or?
I would say stay tuned. There's going to be an album release soon. There's always art coming out. The Instagram is Zeek was here. Zeek was here. You know, the name state, it says. And then just keep the energy going. It's all about the progression.
Okay, Zeek was here on Instagram. All about the progression, guys. I love it, bro. Thanks for talking to me. I'm looking forward to see what you do there, and we're gonna capture it and maybe do a time-lapse video after that. Any last words that you'd like to say?
This was a great opportunity. I'm always humbled forever, 24/8 days a week. Thank you.
Awesome, bro. Thank you.